update on Harvey Weinstein's trial, a new high on America's debt, and Yang leaves the presidential race. All that and more on the Rowan Rundown.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Welcome to the National Rundown. I'm Connor Mason.
And I'm Marissa Bradley. Roger Stone's secret request for a new criminal trial is denied by the judge. This has sparked some strong feelings among Republicans. President Donald Trump says prosecutors treated his friend and longtime advisor badly, and that his sentence isn't unfair. Trump's statements are causing people to see the Justice Department as an untrustworthy department, and some senior Democrats have said Trump is condemning an abuse of power. President Donald Trump says 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg's controversial stop-and-frisk policy is causing a revolution in New York City. Trump stated in an interview that his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was a far better mayor than Bloomberg and tougher, but used stop-and-frisk sparingly and really brilliantly. While supporters of stop and frisk say the practice saves the lives by getting illegal weapons off the streets, critics say the directive is unfair, targets minorities.
Harvey Weinstein's lawyer delivered her closing argument in the trial today. Michael George has the latest from the courthouse.
Harvey Weinstein arrived at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, where his lawyer called him an innocent man.
Donna, are you ready today?
I'm ready.
Defense attorney Donna Rotuno reminded jurors of the defendant's presumption of innocence and claimed the district attorney failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The disgraced Hollywood heavyweight is accused of raping a woman in a hotel room in March 2013 and forcibly performing a sex act on another woman in 2006. During his trial, 6 women testified that he sexually assaulted them as part of the prosecution's effort to establish a pattern of criminal sexual behavior. Defense lawyer Rotuno had promised not to victim shame during the trial, but in her closing argument, she said prosecutors created a world where, quote, women are not responsible for their behavior with men. Gloria Allred represents the accuser in the 2006 case.
There are quite a few rape myths being used to plant doubt in the minds of the jurors today.
Weinstein did not testify during the trial. He's maintained all sexual encounters were consensual. Prosecutors are set to deliver their closing arguments Friday, and jury deliberations are expected to begin next week. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
After the break, the space challenge sweeping the nation, and Maurice talks to Christopher Commons about the wit.
I see it!
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
Which one are we living on? Right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
The U.S. government's public debt reaches a breaking number of $22 trillion. This is the highest it has ever been. Money made by the tax department has fallen and federal spending continues to rise. From the day President Trump took office in 2017, it has risen more than $2 trillion.
Former NBA player Dwayne Wade is a proud parent of a child in the LGBTQ+ community. Wade explained to the world via Ellen and social media that his daughter Zaya was originally born Zion but wanted to live her truth. He shared that his 12-year-old asked for her parents to refer to her as she and to call her Zaya. Now, Gary is here to talk to us about this recent strange broom challenge.
The world was swept away by the hashtag broom challenge on Monday. That the initial thought of it was the fact that due to the gravitational pull, that it was the only day your broom could stand upright by itself. However, that's proven to be false. You can actually make a broom stand by itself any day of the week. As I come back to you guys, what's going on?
Where did this trend start?
So it started on Twitter, which where all crazy things start. The broom challenge came from a viral tweet saying that NASA said the gravitational pull was the reason for all these brooms standing by themselves, which is not true.
We know things on social media spread like wildfire, but how did something as wacky as this catch fire?
Wacky is the best way to describe it. Whoever thought to put a broom like that, God bless them. But the tweet that was initially referenced is now over 71,000 retweets, more than 300 likes. It's crazy how things just spread like wildfire on the internet.
Why was this trend taking place on Monday?
I have no idea. No one has really an answer for that. Someone just decided to put it that day. They said because of the gravitational pull, but it's just not true. It's popped up before in recent history in like 2012 due to like vernal equinoxes and stuff like that, but does not make sense to be done on Monday. It was just someone being random.
So how about you? Were you able to get the broom to stand?
No, there was no chance. I don't know how people are doing this. I put my broom down and it immediately fell and I gave up. I was like, know what? That's it. I'm done with this.
Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna are laid to rest in a private funeral in California. There will still be a chance for fans to say their goodbyes to all the victims of the crash in a public memorial service on February 24th at the Staples Center. The famous basketball player died in a plane crash on his way to a practice game last month.
The jackpot-winning Mega Millions ticket was sold at a Quick Stop food store in Edison, New Jersey. The ticket is worth $202 million. The winner is still unknown, but the store owner believes it is one of the regular players. The shop owners are also winners and will receive a $30,000 bonus for selling the winning ticket. A lesson about slavery goes too far to New Jersey Middle School. Lawrence Cueno is under investigation after making noises that intimidated a whip in an 8th grade classroom at Toms River Intermediate East. He allegedly had students pretend to pick cotton and lay on the floor during the slavery lesson. Cueno has not yet made a public statement.
Now Maurice finds out all it takes to be part of the Rowan newspaper, The Wit.
The Wit has been around since 1938, a Rowan University student-run paper that has won a variety of awards in the past. But as time has gone on, the paper that has been so successful has seen some decline in relevancy. I'm here with Christopher Connors, a writer for The Wit that has been working very hard to try and improve the paper back to its award-winning days. So Chris, I can call you Chris, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I understand that you transferred into Rowan as a junior from community college. That would be correct?
Yes, sir. From Rowan College at Burlington County.
So could you tell me where your love for journalism came from?
Well, as soon as I was old enough to get on the computer and look on the internet, I've been reading news stories, keeping up with the news, current events. I have a deep love for sports, and I've been watching NFL Network and listening to sports talk radio, and just naturally from that, kind of keeping track of sports news has translated into that love of news reporting.
So when you graduate, would you rather go the sports route or the news route?
Well, I love both. I love sports. I love keeping up with all of the factors that go through a sports team, the chemistry of a team, but also when it comes to news, news is a very valuable thing to keep everyone informed, to let them know what's going on in their community, and it's a very important professionalism.
So, as we mentioned, you came in as a transfer, So coming in, not really knowing anybody, not really knowing how the university works, could you tell me a little bit how you got into writing for The Wit?
Well, it all started with Dr. John Giannini, the current athletic director. He was my mentor in the sports cam program. And so he told me that I should write for The Wit. And so between him and the sports editor at the time, Jaden Campana, they really made me feel at home, very comfortable, and I've been there ever since.
So you went from writing about sports to now being named the news editor for a paper, correct?
Yes, sir.
So could you tell me, how did that make you feel? How did that being awarded, being named news editor make you feel personally?
Well, it feels great to have that validation that people trust you, that they think that you can fulfill the tasks. It's a demanding job. It's around the clock. There's really no breaks. You can't take a day off here or there, but it's challenging and rewarding.
So we mentioned that The Wit, used to be very popular, used to win a lot of awards. And now, we have a lot of students that don't necessarily know that we even have a school paper. So could you tell me how you plan on changing that? What is your goal for this paper?
The goal is to localize the news as much as we can, try and get people interested in it, and to really just get outreach. Let people know that there are these classes with the new sports cam major that's kind of brought the entire communications department under a microscope, bringing in new people, and the outreach is there.
So could you tell me how you guys have been trying to do that?
Well, specifically from an outreach perspective, just all the professors are pushing it very hard. Our communications department is one of the up-and-coming departments in the entire nation. So it's gotten a lot of great press from that perspective. And then from just interesting stories, we're trying to kind of put people in the shoes of Rowan operations. So we're going to have a ride along with the police department in 2 weeks, and then we hope to have one with the Rowan EMS, and eventually gourmet dining, and hopefully we can create a series that people are interested in.
Sounds very interesting, something I'd like to tune into. But guys, that's all we have for today. That's Christopher Connors talking about The Wit. You can find a paper anywhere in almost any building. Back to you at the desk.
Coming up, Dylan Peters talks about a Russian man who faces jail time for faking the coronavirus.
It's Ava, and this is Tess from Vivo's Do It Yourselfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old t-shirt.
It's not garbage, it's actually a brand new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Andrew Yang, regarded by many as a breakthrough Democratic candidate, decided to drop out of the presidential race. The entrepreneur did a lot better than most expected, outlasting many active senators and lifelong politicians. Yang calls himself a math guy and ends his bid for presidency due to lower poll numbers compared to his competition. He thanked everyone for their support on Twitter.
Now Renee with some entertainment news.
Monday, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw began her position as the first black woman to lead police department. After declining to have a public swearing ceremony, Deanna Gamble, city's spokesperson, said, quote, Outlaw is the first PBD commissioner ever to forgo the formalities. Outlaw changed police policy regarding nail polish. Currently under department policy for the prescribed uniform, anything but clear nail polish is strictly prohibited. The Department of Public Affairs unit confirmed her change but did not receive copy of Outlaw's order for her release. Shia LaBeouf and co-star 34-year-old Zach Goldsagan take the stage at Dolby Theater. Viewers call him out when he appeared to be impatient and snicker at Goldsagan struggles to get through his prompted lines. Thoughts were taken to Twitter. Users tweeting, why was Shia LaBeouf so impatient with the boy on stage? Laughing at him and pushing him along so distasteful. February 10th, Lindsay Lohan's father, Michael Lohan, was arrested for allegedly assaulting his wife, Kate Major, in New York. A source close to Major says, quote, he has been following her, tracking her, and choked her. The couple has had a history of domestic violence. Authorities are still investigating this case, and that's all for entertainment. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Renee. And now we send it to Dylan Peters with the World News Minute.
All right, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, at least 71 people were killed and another 325 wounded in rebel-held eastern Ghouta by airstrikes and artillery bombardments carried out by the Syrian government. 9 militants were killed, along with 62 civilians, 5 of them women, and 9 of them children. With concerns growing about the New Delhi coronavirus, Russia authorities arrested a man suspected of hooliganism when he collapsed on a train, imitating symptoms of the virus as a joke. The sentence carries a max time of 5 years in Russia. A video shows the young man wearing a mask collapsing before being posted to his social media account called Coward Prank. The video was later taken down. With one of the highest murder rates in the world, El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, stormed the nation's parliament on Sunday afternoon with armed soldiers and police officers to get his $109 million loan approved. He claims that this loan will be used to better equip military personnel and law enforcement officers in the job of tackling gang violence in the country. After Bukele spoke, he gave Parliament 1 week to approve his loan.
Now Alyssa Torres with her opinion on Roger Stone's trial and how Trump has responded.
Thank you, Connor. Today I wanted to discuss the Roger Stone's trial and how President Donald Trump has been reacting to it. Roger Stone, Trump's longtime political advisor and friend, has currently been undergoing a trial for 1 count of obstructing an official proceeding, 5 counts of making false statements to Congress, and 1 count of witness tampering. Recently, Trump has called out the judge for denying Stone's secret request for a new criminal trial, and senior Democrats have condemned an abuse of power by the president and called for the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to intervene to protect the judge in the case. In my opinion, I feel that Trump is crossing the line. No one should be allowed to or even think they can rewrite the rules for their own personal gain. If Stone is found guilty, then that is his ruling, and he must accept it unless proven otherwise. Trump has to find a balance and allow the case to run its course without his interference. Being president doesn't mean you control justice. And that's my opinion. Back to you at the desk.
Senator Elizabeth Warren sets her sights on the Nevada caucus after failing to win in New Hampshire. Her campaign already has one of the largest payrolls of any candidate seeking the Democratic nomination and has now added more than 50 staffers on the ground in Nevada. Warren is trying to get a much-needed win after her 4th place finish in New Hampshire.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders reaches victory in New Hampshire for Democrats, receiving moral support from 18 to 29-year-olds. The only 14% votes ages 65. Sanders' advisor said his polling went up surprisingly around the same time he began airing ads on television. Jeff Weather said, quote, "We won because put together the multi-racial working class coalition that is going to win the nomination and general election." A firefighter is scheduled for suspension after a routine call, the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department said. Daniel Dwyer did not follow protocol after he ran into a burning building without his crew to save a 95-year-old woman. Unfortunately, the woman did not survive the fire.
2 former Ohio State University football players accused of rape enter a not guilty plea. Amir Riep and Jason Wint, both 21, were arraigned Thursday morning on charges of rape and kidnapping, both first-degree felonies. Court records show the alleged crimes happened on February 4th. The woman told police she started having consensual sex with Riep before Wint came into the room, and then both raped her. Coming up, Black Lives Matter leader Hawk Newsome justifies rioting in an interview, and why NASA clears rumors about the broom challenge after this.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody.
So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
In a new episode of Fox Nation's No Interruptions, Tomi Lahren sat down with the president of Black Lives Matter of Greater New York, Hawk Newsome, who argued that his organization and others like it are justified in using destruction to call attention to their grievances with American society. Deputies confront a black man wearing a Ku Klux Klan attire at a Target in Stanford County, Virginia. They warned him about wearing the mask and he left the scene. Later, the man stated he was trying a social experiment. Virginia law prohibits wearing masks with the intent to conceal your identity.
Now, what baseball player is ready to get back on the field? We find out with Frank in Sports.
Thanks, Marissa. Jake Arrieta from the Phillies confirms his good health after scrutiny for being overpaid. Arrieta is one of the 47 pitchers to throw at least 300 innings while maintaining a league average or better ERE. But since his annual salary is $25 million, making him the 11th highest paid pitcher in baseball this year, his performance seems to not stack up that much. Arrieta had a 4.26 ERA, a 1.369 WHIP, and averaged 7.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. Numbers that add up to a total of only 3 wins above replacement level, according to Fangraphs. This makes Arrieta at best overpaid. At worst, he's been a disappointment 2/3 of the way through a $75 million contract that was at the time the second largest free agent signing of a pitcher in Phillies history. Arrieta said, quote, "I'm 100% healthy, so that's nice," end quote. After the new manager Joe Girardi and pitching coach Brian Price put him through their first workout on the backfields at the Carpenter Complex, Arrieta didn't hold back Wednesday in an aggressive long tossing session. Girardi recently assessed Arrieta's progress by saying, quote, "As of right now, we feel good about where his health is," end quote. Back to you at the desk.
The hashtag Broom Challenge took off on social media on Monday as a tweet claiming NASA said Monday was the only day your broom could stand upright due to the gravitational pull of the Earth. But NASA never said such a thing, and brooms can actually balance by themselves at any time. Scientists report that an iceberg twice the size of Washington, D.C. has broken off the Pine Island Glacier in Antarctica. The European Space Agency says in a statement, quote, "The Pine Island Glacier recently spawned an iceberg over 115 square miles that very quickly shattered into pieces," end quote.
Samsung is bringing back an old school classic with a whole new look. The Galaxy X Flip is a touchscreen flip phone. This is the newest Samsung creation that is designed to literally fold in half. Consumers can purchase it starting on February 14th. And we now send it over to Imani Martin, who has the weather.
So it's been a couple of rainy days in the past couple of days. However, we're going to look forward to some sunshine coming up in the forecast. The low is 31 degrees tonight. However, on Friday, we have a high of 36 degrees. The low is going to be 16 degrees, and we're going to have a couple of clouds. Now, on Saturday, the high is going to be around the same, 35 degrees. The low is going to be 25 degrees, but we still will have that sun. Now, on Sunday, it gets a little bit warmer. 49 degrees is going to be the high. 32 degrees is going to be the low. We keep our sun, and on the next day, it gets even warmer. 53 degrees is going to be the high on Monday. The low is going to be 38 degrees, and it's going to be partly sunny, so that's pretty good. Not too much sun, not too much clouds. Now on Tuesday, you're looking forward to a 61-degree day. That is a very warm day for it to be February, and the low is going to be 42 degrees. It's going to be a very sunny week coming up. You have a lot of good days to look forward to.
So, Monty, how's the weather treating you?
It's really not a good day. As you can see, this is at 9 a.m. It was kind of wet out. And on to the next picture, you see some people with umbrellas, still a wet floor, well, a wet ground. On to the next picture where there's construction on Route 322. You still have rain. It was coming down really hard around 2 p.m. So this rain is just, it's getting out of hand today.
How do you feel about the rain?
I feel like I just want to not have to use my umbrella, you know?
Yeah, it's nonstop. I woke up this morning, I saw rain again. I said, I gotta lug all this to class.
I know, and you know, but it's a sunny forecast coming up. We have some good days ahead. Warm weather coming. It's going to be good. So
that's awesome. Good.
And that's it for this nightly news. For all of us here at Rowan Network, I'm Connor Mason.
And I'm Marissa Bradley. Thank you for watching.
And good night.